I want to ask something.
Ooh.
Nick, are you occasionally accidentally going under the view of these are a range of our interests rather than the top 5?
I think my mentality keeps bleeding through there because I'm trying to do a comparative analysis of like ones that we've already went over, and also like why they would be here, and also under the guys that like I was told there weren't that many duds to be a factor, and yet they keep sticking a needle under my toenails every time.
We only each. I mean, Kai, how many duds did you personally put in, like at your? Because like I only had like 3 put in at my request.
I had 7.
Okay.
I put in like what 4?
Luke.
So yeah.
Okay, so between all of us, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. There's 19.
Okay.
Out of like the 90 actual ones, right?
So with that, Spy Family Volume 1 for books.
So this one, I'm just trying to think back to like the last 5 years that I've even heard of this thing's existence, and it hasn't come from either Luke or Kai. I feel like I vaguely remember Zach telling me about this at one time or another, but I also am probably confusing this with Persona.
I do like the show for Spy Family.
Well, then it's probably in your manga. Oh well, hang on. Are you fucking with me right now?
It might be.
Do you actually like the show?
Yes, I do.
You definitely
I like the show.
Okay.
I haven't watched season 2, but I liked season 1.
Do you really like the show?
I'm gonna refrain from saying how much I like the show.
Then this is a dud, clearly.
So we're going dud?
Because if you just kind of like, well, just hear my logic out.
Okay.
No.
And
Listen. I'm sorry. Let me specify my logic. Me refraining from saying how much I like it is to simply try and keep my bias out of the decision-making process. Because if I said I really, really like the show, then yes, it would be obvious that it is in my top 5. But if I said, I mean, I kind of like it, then it'd be obvious that it wasn't in my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, refraining from saying anything is just kind of keeping it like, is it on my list? Who knows?
It's a question of, did any part of you refrain from saying I like the show in the first place?
No.
Because that was a caveat.
No.
So no part of you held back there?
Nope.
But, like, okay, so you like the show. You don't really like the show.
Refraining from saying
is that a... So that's like a red hair. I'm talking to myself from here, so you don't really... you don't have to answer any of these questions. I'm just like basically speaking to nobody at this point. If you really like the show, which you didn't say you did, you probably like the manga better. But you just said you like the show, which means that you probably just like the manga, unless there's some drastic difference between them I don't know about.
Zach, what platform is this show on?
Crunchyroll.
Probably Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Okay, I'd be interested to see that.
Okay.
I'm trying not to substitute my own memories here, but I'm pretty sure I've heard you talk about this.
The show, yes.
It's got to be one or the other, right? Like, it's got to be like, it's in your top 5, probably closer to the high end, or like, this is a dud. Well, no, you're aware of its existence.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to shriek like really loud if this is a dud. I'm going with Zach 3.
Zach 3, final answer?
Yeah.
Luke number 2.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh.
You played that fucking masterfully. You didn't say shit about this.
I tuned in at the end to say, like, hey, I'd be interested in seeing the show.
I completely overlooked it because Zach had some opinions about it.
Yeah.
Me saying I like... You like Spy Family, right? And I'm like, yeah, I like the show. That was me saying I haven't read it.
Okay.
That was very well done.
So I want to give some grace though to like why you didn't guess this, because 1, I don't tell many people that I have read this, and 2,
well, I've seen your collection though. I couldn't remember it there. I
Yeah,
can
that's
remember many of them, but I
Um,
didn't. This one was a gap in my memory.
But also, this is a testament to how much I don't read because this is my number 2 book and I haven't even finished volume 1.
Oh,
So this
I
is your
remember-
second?
He's not a reader.
You know when's the last time
Yes,
I
you
read a full book?
are. You have multiple manga.
I have
okay.
3.
It doesn't.
I would
doesn't
love
mean-
to be hearing this conversation from like a room over.
Yeah.
Like, like if the two voices of this conversation were coming from the same room, just like walking by. I'm not a reader. Yes, you are.
I feel like this is a kind of a newer version of you have Uno.
Because you have a fucking collection. If you've read more than one manga, I think it's safe to say you're like a reader. I mean, take that with a grain of salt, but you haven't even read like less than 2 mangas.
I've read 1.5 manga.
It's you've. No, you also read Tokyo Ghoul,
Ooh, I
or at least you own it.
almost skipped
I own
forward.
it.
Doesn't mean you read it. That's me. Like I have.
But I feel
I
like
have
eventually you would get to it. You read
I haven't read
Dracula.
any of
How are
it.
you not a reader? That's totally like absurd and stupid to say that you're not a reader.
I didn't finish Dracula.
You read like a lot of it.
No, you didn't.
You-
You didn't get the good part.
Do you hear Trinity talking in
Yep.
the background?
Yeah.
Yep, I heard. All right, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Oh my god. All right, next up. Inferno Plus for YouTubers.
This is a very topical one.
This is
Yeah.
this is the guy who did like the Cursed Halo
Probably about-
and the Dark Souls one.
yeah.
Which we've
So
been looking
this
at
is,
recently.
this is probably Zach like number 1, right?
Do you want to stick? Is that your final answer?
Like, why not?
All right, Zach number 1. Zach number 5.
Damn.
But you got the person right.
Yeah, good seek out really quickly.
Yeah, that was quick. All right, moving to the next one.
It's kind of impressive.
Avril Lavigne for music artist. Again, there are albums if you want to see
Probably
them.
Luke. Looks pretty emo.
Do you want to see the albums or no? 'Cause I don't know
Yeah.
if that matters.
Yeah, give me the album.
All right, boom,
Yep.
boom,
Yeah, Pop Mala.
and boom.
And the middle is also an album.
Yeah, they're all but like those are like 3 specific albums I put there.
Yeah.
It's definitely not Zach. There's like like I'm leaving like
I
a
would,
10%
I would
grace.
never listen to a woman. Please don't ever quote me on
That's
that.
not a woman. That's a goddess.
True.
Said Luke, because he laughed first.
Please don't ever quote me on that phrase.
I will not, but it's going in the video.
You have to include don't quote me on that.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you.
I know. I guess I don't know, but I think that Kai has mentioned this before, though. You know what? This is confusing me. You know what? What usually happens when they confuse me is they're not real.
That has been the theme.
That has been the thing. But I don't recall any posters from Luke, and unless it's changed or it's been very subtle.
I will
But it
tell you
doesn't
that
mean
I
he
do not
doesn't have
any-
albums.
I do not have any posters of Avril Lavigne in my room.
Well, statistically, the odds don't matter of like the order of duds, anything.
Yeah. It's all
So I'm gonna just call this a dud, I guess.
You're calling this one a dud?
Yeah,
My number 2.
number 2.
I love Avril Lavigne.
I feel like I don't hear you talk about her much.
I don't know. I don't know. I listen to her a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a passive.
She is
thing.
my preferred Lavigne. I don't
It has
know
to be. It has to be
Gone.
passive, because you barely mention her, and
I don't know if I've ever mentioned that I listen to Avril Lavigne, but I love Avril
assuming
Lavigne.
as far as music goes, I don't know, maybe not limited to artists, and like death battle tracks aren't number 1. There's a pretty big gap, right?
I
Mhm.
mean, yeah. All right. You want to the next one?
Yeah.
Arrow for TV shows.
Well, this is definitely you.
You
Oh no,
have
wait,
been-
this has got to be a dud. Because
Mhm.
wait a minute. Just wait a goddamn
I like how he's
second.
gone from me to Dud to wait a damn minute.
Well, those are the two most obvious, but it's not always obvious. I have heard Zach talk about this before, but
Mhm.
it's like, unless I just really don't know Zach's TV tastes. Can I ask, do you guys have
To be
cable?
fair, like our entire friendship hinges on like video games.
Mm.
Well, I have heard
I
you
mean,
talk about this, and I
should
also
rephrase
know
that.
of this.
We only bond through video games right now.
That's pretty true.
I only love you for the video games.
Love's not got nothing to do with this. We play this out of like. You think I want to be here? Like,
Damn.
I have to. I'm like contractually obligated.
By who?
Via $60 game.
Why would I subject myself to this out of love?
I don't know. Anyway,
So I don't know. Like, I think Kai's a red herring here. Zach has definitely mentioned CW before, and
Oh,
I don't know, by extension. Like, I'm digging deep here. Like,
yeah.
but I don't. You know, like, just CW alone isn't a basis enough for.
It kind of is. They're like primary like moneymaker is like TC shows.
Yeah.
Well, what
And
I
they
meant was
also-
like you referencing CW, like probably because of like, you know, the special effects, like, and you know how campy they are, isn't basis enough, at least in my view, to, you know, call this like one of your top 5 favorite shows. But then, like, I probably have just never, like you said, it's just never come up.
Now I will say, this is something to just keep in mind. The campy effects are like from like superheroes and shit. So that's like Flash and Supergirl and whatnot. Really, the only I mean, they use some effects in like later Arrow, but like
the villains, though,
really,
right?
yeah, for the most part, their special effects are like, you know, explosions and like, you know, arrows flying and shit like that. So
Might be more tolerable, I guess,
Yeah.
than. Better not be trying to fucking trick me.
He's talking
listen,
a lot about it.
I would never lead you on.
What a good
But
man.
I appreciate that.
Nick's cheated on my so many times.
I would only
What?
What?
I think you said lead me on. What does that have to do with anything?
It's adjacent.
It's adjacent.
It's
yeah, that works.
it's really not, but okay.
So you need to guess.
Well, fucking, I guess let's say Zach number 2.
Zach number
That's-
2.
Feels like a pretty good compromise given the evidence.
Final answer.
Yeah,
Zach number 4.
Decent.
damn.
I will also point out, I don't remember if there are any other CW shows in here. Never assume it's me, because I have beef with CW despite loving the first few seasons of Flash. I hate them
What is
so
your beef?
I also love the first few seasons of Flash, but like I wouldn't ever put any of them in my top 5.
I hate
liked Arrow a lot.
I hate CW because the girl, I think I've had this rant with one or two of you. I don't remember who was here for it.
With me, I don't remember what the rant was though.
The girl who played Supergirl in that show was a character on Glee. And she transitioned from doing Glee to then doing Supergirl. However, during the final episode of Glee, they brought back quite literally every character except one, which was her, because CW would not let her go on set for Glee, despite it being a literal 2-second cameo that it would have been. She would have been on camera for approximately 2 minutes, maybe.
It's probably just in her contract. I wouldn't blame CW for that.
I'm blaming CW because they're the ones who did that.
The contract was bullshit because like they were even in off season, like they weren't even filming Supergirl at that time.
Supergirl was in off season. Glee was finalizing it. Like I think it was like a 7-8 year run, of one of the
That is-
highest grossing TV shows in history, and they said
That doesn't even
no.
make any sense. That's like counterproductive because if anything, an actor showing up in more media would just bring more attention to your show.
Exactly.
Right.
So I have beef with CW. I don't remember if there's any more in here, but if there are, do not assume it's me. I can't stand them. All right.
All right.
We'll move on. Theirwolf Media for music. Again, if you
You
want
have albums?
you want albums.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Kind of ties it up in a neat little bow, doesn't it?
Yep.
it really fucking does.
This is Kai number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
All right. Kai number 1.
I mean, I would fucking hope so.
Number 5.
Ooh.
Hmm.
What the fuck? That's all you talk about.
Not he doesn't always talk about the music though.
Yes, he does.
Oh really?
I do a lot.
I
Yeah, he
have
does talk about the
listened
tracks.
to like 5 hours
All right. You know what, Nick?
of death battle tracks.
Nick, I'm gonna give you a little heads up on something because
Okay.
Death Battle has 2 main artists.
Does that not count as the fucking artist? What gives? Like,
They
there's
both
a-
make
I'm
there's
expected
another
to
artist.
also know the. Never mind.
Theirwolf Media does about 1/3 of Death Battle's tracks. The other guy does the rest of them.
I didn't know I had to do that. The fuck?
All right, we'll move
This
on.
is so hard and unfair.
Pokemon Platinum.
We're just moving on. Okay. I didn't know I had to distinguish. Never mind.
And the car at the
Well-
bottom of the pit.
No, we're not bringing that up, Luke. He'll have a panic attack.
And Yoshi would have been able to.
It's just bullshit. You guys
They're
can't
sh-
deny it.
They're
And I'm
separate.
just supposed to pretend like we're cool.
They're separate. They're separate artists. They have their own solo careers and everything.
I didn't know that. I was just listening to the death battle things. Like I didn't know that there wolf me. Never mind. It's fine. It's
You got
fine.
the name right.
Yoshi won fair and square.
Yeah.
No. All right.
If you don't know what we're talking about, click this video up here. The link
I'll
to the
put-
death battle.
I'll put one there for
Yeah,
during this.
little info code.
You know what? I think I have to watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
It's great.
I
It's fucking
recommend it.
fantastic.
You would definitely see where I'm coming from. I would hope.
So yeah, Pokemon Platinum though.
Luke, are you uploading this?
I'm not recording right now. This is just for
Oh,
Kai.
okay. Okay. Just Kai. Got it.
Yep.
I need a minute here.
No,
I'm
you're
not-
good. You're good.
I need to calm down.
Fair.
I know Pokemon is
Would you like
a
to shoot some
a thing-
hollows?
shoot some hollows.
Dark
Oh,
Souls.
you mean
cunts.
Dark Souls?
I'm kidding.
It's like now is not the time.
Should remind you that you do have lifelines.
You do have lifelines.
Where are we right now? Like we're
State of Michigan.
Definitely
We're still pretty
Uh,
early in.
okay. Thank you.
We definitely aren't doing all of this tonight because I do work early.
All right, then yeah, we're probably not going to, but it's at least a chunk.
Yeah.
Nick's just never gonna hang out with us again. The video will never be finished.
Probably.
It almost jumped out at me for a minute. I'm like, oh, I immediately know this. This is one of
you don't know?
Kai's.
Oh.
But it's like it's giving dud vibes.
Is that the final answer?
I think so. Even if I get
Alright.
it wrong, I kind of accept it because like there are a lot of games out there.
All right, Pokemon Platinum, dud.
I could give it credit to Zach, but I think it's a dud.
It is a dud.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
3
3
points.
points right there. I almost wanted to help
No
out with that
reaction,
one
only relief.
because I didn't remember where that one was. I didn't know for certain, but it did. You were right. It did feel like a dud. It felt like one of those ones where it's like, oh, Pokemon, but maybe it's one of the bad ones.
It's a really good one. It's actually
Well,
I know
it's in my top 10.
Okay.
I know to look out for them.
Yeah.
Listen, if the entirety of Gen 5 didn't exist, it would be my favorite.
I think your enjoyment of it starts with black and white, so I'm gonna try to keep that in mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
My enjoyment
Going
starts
forward,
with
that's smart.
red and blue. I like the old games too. All right.
I mean,
Me too.
it doesn't start with black and white. I think it's more fair to say it ends with black and white,
Fair.
and it is a good ending for me. I'm
All
keeping
right.
it at that.
Okay.
My Darkest Day for music. Again, albums available.
It's not possible for two duds to be back to back, right?
was on the
I know
list.
this is. I mean, this would be in the Luke category.
I
but
believe it. I
Checking
think there
the
might be
hard
one.
playlist.
I don't know how much he likes porn star dancing. I just know he listens to it a lot.
I do
It's
think there might be
in,
one or two instances of duds back to back, but I couldn't tell you where.
It is indeed in the hard playlist.
That's true. That is true. I don't know if anybody else knows what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
I would be amazed if this wasn't in
Okay,
his top
just-
5, though.
I just asked for it because Luke happened to have a playlist full of bangers that was like 9 hours long, and he'd play it at work every day. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I need something to keep me sane when there's not someone playing music at work.
Fair enough.
You can click for
Yeah,
albums too if you want to.
Do you want me to give you
Go
the
ahead.
albums?
Yeah.
And we got boom. We got boom. And we got boom.
I do want to say you misspelled the name in the top there.
What are you talking about?
My Darkest Days.
Oh, I forgot the S.
Oops.
I thought it was a Z.
Well, we know it's clearly Kai number 1 then.
Yep, for sure.
Um,
Kai number 1 video games.
so Zach, you mentioned listening to Luke's playlist at McDonald's.
Yes.
And
I
this
also
was- I'm-
convinced him. I convinced him to add a "Devil May Cry" song to that playlist.
Yeah.
Did this resonate with you?
That seems like such an abstract question. I don't know.
It's a yes or no. It's
This artist,
Fuck, I dropped my pencil.
I like the anime. Yeah, I like the artist.
you like the artist.
Yes.
Were you aware of their existence before Luke played them at McDonald's?
That's a good question.
but that was 5 years ago, so I would have ample time to look more into it.
Have you?
I'll refrain.
Okay.
This one's tricky
Objection, Your Honor.
because there's a very clear, obvious answer here, but that doesn't mean it's right. You guys would never get my music top 5.
I don't think I
Not
would
a-
get you music.
Not a
then.
million years. No. It's so fluid. I don't even know.
It just happens.
It changes literally every day, and I love fucking with Spotify. That's my only. That's the only constant. I love screwing with the algorithm. They're like, "What do we do?"
What is this, man?
They're
They'll
panicking at
just-
the office.
They'll throw like anything in there, and I'm just like dislike. Like I only dislike. I don't like. I just listen to it again if I like
I was
it
a hater.
Interesting way to go through it.
because it's just not how you're supposed to use it. I don't know, these albums on here. I can't be like I'm just a human. You know, I can't.
I'm just saying.
That is the wrong band.
I can't. I can't predict more than I know. This is probably in Luke's top 5. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's his favorite. That's probably for like White Whale currently, or sorry, not White Whale. Shadow Academy.
I will say, remember, I put this together about a month ago, so anything that's come up since then is not in here.
I've known Shadow Academy for longer. Than
I
that.
just wanted to,
Alright,
I
yeah.
just, he brought up like recently it might be White Whale. I'm like, I want you to remember
Yeah, I
how
get you.
long ago I put this together.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say recently. Sometimes
Oh, okay.
I say words that have nothing to do with anything.
Sorry, yapping.
The yapologist. You're literally not
Flapping your
though. I'm
flaps.
scared. Let's say was 4 called already?
Luke has not had any music called yet. So all
Let's
5
say
spots are-
3 to be
Three?
kind of a grace. Yeah.
All right, Luke number 3.
Yep.
Luke number 2.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah.
I should have been more optimistic.
I have no
I might have
fucking
moved
clue who
up
these
from
people are.
3.
I have no fucking clue who these guys are. All right.
Would you say, Nick?
I don't. I just listen to their songs.
Fair enough. All right.
I said if I would have started with 3, I might have moved to 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Next up,
Can I get like a half up? Never mind.
Penguin Zero for YouTubers, otherwise known as Moist Critical.
I know who this is.
Wanted to
this
make
is
sure.
one of my favorites.
Okay.
Nick number 3.
I mean, this probably would be number 3 for me. Maybe 4. I don't know.
He's the guy that starts all of his videos like, you know what really gets my dick hard in the morning?
Yeah.
Paddington
Yeah.
2.
Yep. That is exactly how he starts.
That's
his
about it.
videos.
See ya.
See ya.
About it.
And that's the whole fucking video.
What really gets my dingus doofed?
Paddington 2. That's about it.
Um,
See ya.
Paddington, the moist meter.
I haven't even watched Paddington
No.
2. I like the first one.
I don't get the sense that Kai likes or is familiar with this one.
Didn't he just say he liked it?
I did.
Or did I mishear?
I am an enjoyer of him occasionally.
You're an enjoyer.
Okay.
What about you, Zach? Are you aware of this person's existence?
Yes. I'm subscribed.
Okay. Well, we have our comparison now. I'm trying to remember this has nothing to do with me. Like, I also like this person. I think they're up there.
Yeah, why don't we have Nick's top 5s on here?
I don't know. Maybe we should have done that.
Dude,
So Nick
I
could
get
guess
my
his
own
top
5
5s.
wrong.
I would forget my own top 5s. I have been.
True.
An enjoyer versus somebody who is subscribed. Is that Zach
Oh,
downplaying?
I should specify if Kai says he's an enjoyer, I am also an enjoyer.
Okay.
But we don't know.
Kai,
if
are
he's
you
subscribed.
subscribed?
Potentially? I don't fucking know.
Potentially.
He-
Well, why don't you find out right now?
Let me.
For the sake of the argument.
Let's take our 5-minute fuck around and find out break.
Yeah.
0. I am.
Kai, are you a YouTube watcher who just kind of watches what is recommended, or you search out specific things, but you don't really worry about subscribers you may or may not be subscribed to somebody you watch?
I subscribe to quite literally anyone who I enjoy a single video of, and then I
Okay.
forget I'm subscribed to them.
Gotcha.
So there's about 15 to 20, maybe more people on here. I watched one video of. I was like, oh, they're funny. I'll subscribe to them, and then I have not watched a single other video they posted. Hell, I'm subscribed to Ludwig, and I've never watched a video of his. I just think he can. I think he's funny on TikTok.
So it's important to remember that Kai's subscription to Moist Critical doesn't really have anything to do with his enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
But he did say he was an enjoyer.
That is true.
What if you click this and it's one of mine?
That has something like that has already happened numerous times today.
Yeah.
Like you've never heard me talk about him. That's my number 2.
Just doesn't seem likely in this case.
It's very unlikely.
Because I've talked about him. That would just be like a dick move as a friend from you to be like, oh yeah, I love this person, but I'm never gonna like share it with you.
So whether this guy, whether he's on my list, whether we click this, see the next slide and see my profile picture or not, will determine if I'm a bad friend or not.
Yes.
Well,
Checks out.
At least be an element.
we can't really compare it in good or bad because everyone has like their their friend their friend like tally score, right? Like how many fucking asshole moves have you made, and
Do
how
you?
many have you like redeemed?
Do you have that score?
Everyone does. It's
What?
whether or not they. Yeah, because like whether or not everyone fucking like
I'm
puts it
being
in
scored.
numerics.
Yeah, I don't. It may exist, but like I guess I don't keep score.
don't-
Are you vaguely aware of like how much you like people or not?
Yeah,
Then you have one.
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean.
I
That's
thought you meant like you had a
I-
notebook where you were writing this shit down.
no, I'm not. I'm not that invested. But like fucking, there are things that I wish people haven't done.
Oh yeah.
Like
There are
make this
things I wish
fucking
I haven't
show.
done.
Sorry, that was my
Um,
impersonation of Nick.
Like, I wish I wasn't here.
I
right
didn't
now.
even I didn't even catch what you said. It just sounded like some
You were
monologue
like,
from an anime.
you were like, there are things I wish people didn't do, and impersonating you, I was like make this fucking slideshow.
Yeah, that is something I would say. You got
Moving
one on
Kai
the
Slider
list.
down a little bit.
I'm leaning Kai right now. It's something's calling to me. But I'm trying to decide if it just hasn't come up between the two of us, or if in that case it would go to Zach. But also trying to remember any times that Zach has mentioned like a reference to this. But also it's okay to reference this dude like without necessarily enjoying him because he's pretty well known.
Nobody dislikes him. I don't think.
iFunny dislikes him, but iFunny sucks. So,
iFunny dislikes him.
Yeah.
I
That
just
totally
remember,
changes my.
I just remember like everything about iFunny. Like when I used it, I was too young to understand like quite a bit of the humor. But now
Yeah.
looking back, quite a lot of it, a lot of the stuff that was featured, mind you, was like very like homophobic and like transphobic stuff.
I use the
I'm
app
pretty
now.
sure it still is. It's like
I-
the culmination of
I use
like
the app now.
Tumblr plus everything bad.
It
right?
is
Mhm.
so. You have to delve through some of the most racist, homophobic, transphobic garbage you'll ever see. However,
Right.
in between those is some of the funniest goddamn things I've seen in my life.
Right.
Makes it all worth it.
There were, and I remember like because I would see that stuff like without even really knowing what like a trans person even was.
Yeah.
So back then it would say some like transphobic statement and I'd be like, oh haha, that's so right, because I'm like I don't even know if that stuff even like exists. I haven't been exposed to it. And then once I was, I'm like, wow, that's a shitty thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I was also like fucking tainted by the app too, like from a very early age. I remember when it first came out and I was like 8 years old and just like, what the fuck is a black pill? Like but like I I don't think it's like the funny things you could get from iFunny you couldn't get from somewhere else without having to go
Right.
through all of that.
You would just
It's
need
just
to
that-
look while iFunny just kind of presents it for you.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a toxic community, it's a concentration of toxic communities.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there are actual quote unquote humans that that consistently enjoy iFunny in like what it is, as opposed to the occasional like funny thing that it has.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Starting to circle back around, what
Yeah,
does
now-
iFunny like about Critical?
They just
Uh,
they think he's boring. They
Oh,
think
yeah.
that he's just
He
like
does he does give off that vibe, but
they all have the same.
Well-
Pretty much every post about him, it's the same. It's pretty much just he's a monotone guy who says the occasional out of pocket thing. So he's not actually that funny.
yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't think his humor is like the best. He just has like good opinions about stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
and
like-
I like his analogies.
The beauty about it that probably iFunny could do to take account for it is that you don't have to watch him.
Right.
You could
Yeah.
just walk away.
That's a lot of the internet, though. They could just not. You could just ignore
Yeah, they
something,
could just
but
like,
you could
you
also
know,
get mad at it.
they could keep the few hairs that they're gonna lose over it, but no.
Yeah. I'm still leaning Kai. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
just the order or it's just been because I don't want to call this one a dud again. Maybe I do. I don't know. Because Kai hasn't expressed like the most interest in it, but also like I don't know if Zach has either. Just that he's referenced the memes, but the memes are pretty common because even before I knew about this guy, I knew about the memes. It's like it could be a dud, you know. Not sure.
Would you like to use a lifeline or no?
That would bewilder me, and I would almost feel like I have to apologize to Luke if like this came up on his list and I didn't I didn't know it or even consider it for a second.
Would you like to use lifeline?
Yeah,
You want to use lifeline? All right.
Yeah.
This is not mine.
really.
No.
So it's one of Zach's? It's not like his all-time favorite. Couldn't be, could it?
It couldn't. It shouldn't. It wouldn't.
This is like a whole Death Note episode.
Right, exactly. This is thumping him way harder than I thought it would.
We can't hear the internal monologues.
Have you ever seen like the memes or the videos of that? Of just like Death Note without the monologues.
I've never seen them, but I can imagine it.
Yeah, they're just sitting there like breathing. It's fucking funny, especially when it's like even the parts that aren't L and Kira is just like it's Matsuda like standing up against a wall for a little while while like the maid cleans the hotel and he's checking. Has number 2 been called yet?
It has not.
I'll say number 2.
All right, Zach number 2. Zach number 4.
Ooh, I keep doing that.
That one
Keep guessing
stumped
high for
you
Zach.
way harder than I thought it was going to, I will say.
Have you looked at critical? Like, that's
You know, that's a good hint right there. Actually, just look at him.
All right.
I mean, what about
I
him?
will say that's where I get my appearance from, but I take some inspirations.
Well, I mean, I could never get that because I don't judge people on their appearances. I
Right.
just
I do.
And Zach
heard
does.
that.
Yep.
everyone does at the end of the day, but like
Try not
I like
to.
to think that I try not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Linkin Park for music.
Ooh. Yeah, that's Luke. That's like probably
I like
number
that.
2,
Number
Has
2
two
has
been
been
called?
taken.
number 3.
All right, you want to go number 3 for Luke?
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Albums. And
Wait. Number 1.
you want to switch it to number 1?
Yes.
All right. Luke number 3. Nick, Nick, I'm giving you the point because the only reason you called that in time was because I accidentally added a blank animation shot there, meaning that it didn't click over to Luke number 3 fast enough for you to not be able to do that.
I hate when I do that. I do that all
So,
the fucking time.
You're getting both points.
I picked
Okay.
the wrong end. Thank you.
Nick, you'll know number 1 when you see it.
Yeah, I thought I did. But, just like,
Yeah, I thought
you play it all the fucking time, dude.
You were talking earlier about the posters on my wall.
Yeah,
Keep that in mind for
All right.
future music ones.
Oh my
Okay.
god, moving
I
on.
am.